Okay, so I'm here with Stephen Elmer of Truck King. We're very excited for you because you are about to start a really amazing journey. Can you tell us a little bit more about this trip and then exactly what car you're taking or truck you're taking?
Sure, absolutely. So this is the beginning. Actually, this is day 2 of our trip. I shouldn't say the beginning. We started in Tacoma, Washington. That's because the headline for this trip is Tacoma to Tundra. We're going all the way up to the tundra in the Arctic. We're taking 2 Toyota Tundras. We're taking this guy, which is a TRD Pro, of course with the hybrid engine. And then the other truck we have is an SR5 TRD off-road. So we have a really nice mix there of 2 different trucks. And yeah, like I mentioned, we're leaving here and we're heading straight north. We're going to go through the interior of BC. We're going to wrap through the Yukon, all the way up to Inuvik in the Northwest Territories. And then we go on the newly completed Inuvik to Tuktoyaktuk Road, and we get all the way to the Arctic Ocean. So it's also a nice, we started in the Pacific Ocean and we're going to end at the Arctic.
Wow, so for those people who don't know how far that is, how many miles or kilometers are we talking about?
So from here to there, we're going to do just over 4,000 kilometers, but we're actually going to go north and then we have to backtrack south to Whitehorse. Right. So our entire trip is going to be just over 5,000 K, which I guess is 2,800 miles or something.
Right, that's amazing amount of a distance, right? And the entire thing is going to be done with Tundra TRD Pro with the hybrid. Lots of power and torque, and then the normal 3.5 liter twin turbo with off-road, TRD off-road. Yeah. And I know you haven't driven a lot yet, but can you comment on some of the differences you're feeling already?
Sure, absolutely. The other thing we are bringing, I want to mention, is we do have a small trailer. It's just a little 12x6 utility trailer, but again, gives us a chance to feel a little bit more out of the trucks. We do have different wheelbases here too, so that'll feel different. In terms of how they feel, the first word that comes to mind is powerful, and that's out of both trucks. Even just the twin turbo, it doesn't feel like it's lacking compared to the old V8, and then you get in this hybrid, and it's like, dang, it takes off the line. It's very powerful. So that's kind of the first gut reaction, is they didn't cheap out on the power. Right. So anyone who's scared that the V8 went away, I don't think that's really a big concern.
They're not gonna miss the V8 if they drive this.
No,
even the base 3.4 or 3.5 liter has more than enough power, right?
Exactly. And now the other thing we've really been feeling is the suspension differences, because of course on the Pro we have the Fox shocks, so a whole different suspension setup. And this truck, I mean, around town, it's just a little floaty, right? You get the body roll around the corners, the nosedive on braking. But of course, once you get on the rough road, this thing should just absolutely eat it up. Yeah. Whereas the off-road is in the city, it's beautiful, it's smooth, it doesn't have that roll to it. But then, of course, when the road gets rough, it's probably going to ride a little bit rougher too. Right. So it'll be interesting to kind of see that difference. But around town, I would take the off-road. Where we're going up in the Arctic, the Pro is probably going to be better. Yeah.
Now, both of them are kind of prototype or same, like a pre-production model, is that right?
That is correct. So they're both pre-pros. We were hoping for a production hybrid, and the timing just didn't work out. So luckily, Toyota Canada came through for us, and they did get us this truck.
Now, I did end up ordering or purchasing the Tundra TRD Pro. Mine is a white one, coming in about a month or so. I should drive all the way back over to you guys.
Yes, you should. Come to our trails.
Do a collaboration over there, right?
We got lots of mud for you to run through.
So tell us a little bit more about your channel. I mean, I'm very inspired by your channel because I love trucks. You love trucks. We love Toyota trucks. Tell us a little bit more about your channel.
Sure. So the channel is Truck King, as you can see on the sweater. And I mean, we review trucks, but we basically focus on larger vehicles. We also do full-size SUVs, some crossovers. Our focus is definitely trucks. And I guess what we always come back to is we like to test trucks the way people use trucks, which means filling them with payload and towing trailers. Because for years and years, and I won't even take the credit, my dad, who's also on the channel with me, he would watch these truck reviews and read these truck reviews where people would drive it for a week empty, maybe go to IKEA, and then tell you what it's like. And we would go, no, that's not what truck owners do. So on our channel, you're always going to find us towing. We do 0 to 60 while towing. We always do fuel economy while towing, because these are also numbers that manufacturers don't give you. They're not going to tell you what it's going to burn with the 7,000-pound trailer. So those are the things that we focus on trucking. And then, of course, going off-road, we love to get things muddy and try to break them.
Yeah, and you guys do the real testing, right? Not like us, we're a bunch of wimpies here, West Coast. We take it to IKEA and then local supermarket and come back with it. But that's probably what a lot of people use it here. But you guys actually take it to the extreme, right? That's what they're meant to be for.
Absolutely. That's always how we looked at it. And then the truth is that maybe a lot of buyers won't do that stuff, but it's also important for you to know the truck could do those things, right? It's peace of mind. So that's also why we do what we do, is to try to show the truck at its limit and how it performs.
Now, how did this whole trip started? Like, what was the inception or the start of the thing? So you guys did something similar some years ago, right?
Yeah, so actually that's exactly it. In 2014, we took a 2014 Tundra and a 2007 Tundra, and we ran the Trans-Labrador Highway.
Okay. Yeah.
We're always looking for adventure drives in Canada. There's so many beautiful places in Canada that nobody ever goes, so we're always looking for that. And Labrador, of course, is the east coast, so we went all the way out there to the ocean. And then this time we sat down, Toyota brought up the new truck. They actually approached us to say, hey, we loved what you did in Labrador. We want to show this truck off in a tough setting. What would you do? And they kind of gave us a blank sheet of paper to say, where would you go with it? And right away, we went the Dempster Highway. You know, that is so famous in Canada. Everyone wants to go drive the Dempster. It is unpaved, so it's going to be, many hundreds of kilometers of just dirt road. There's also 2 ice crossings on the Dempster. So that was really the goal, was just the Dempster. But then, of course, you're not going to stop in a Nuvik. You have to go all the way to the Arctic Ocean, right?
Now,
so that's sort of where it all came from.
When you finally arrive at the Arctic Ocean, do you guys have some kind of special celebration thing going on, or anything planned?
I don't know yet. We're going to see. We wanted to dip a tire in the Pacific and then dip a tire in the Arctic, but the Arctic's going to be frozen, so there won't be dipping. We'll go out on the ice and show it there maybe.
But there's ice crossing, right?
There's 2 ice crossings.
So tell me a little bit more about that, because I think the weather or something might impact the ice crossing. Is that right?
Yeah, so that's sort of the stressful part of the trip, is that there's 2 ice crossings, and of course we're getting into springtime now and the temps are warming up. So they generally close around May 4th and 5th. We're going to be there about a week before that. We should be safe. But of course, when we first found out about it, we actually rejigged the trip so that we're going to go north really hard for about 4 days straight to make sure we get up there and then we get back. Because actually the worst situation would be get above the rivers and then have them open up and then be stuck up there. So,
you don't want to be stuck there for days and days.
No, right? Yeah. So that's sort of the that's the adventure part of this whole thing, right? Is we got to make sure we make the ice roads. And I've never crossed an ice road before, so that's going to be a new thing for us too.
And who's on your team?
So we have the 3 Elmers, my dad, and then my brother Matthew. We have another auto journalist, Eric DeCarey, who is based in Montreal. And then we also have a full-time cameraman, Danny Bailey, who's cameraman extraordinaire, to come capture all the beautiful scenery.
Super. Now, I know it's a little bit noisy out here, but can you show us the route on the map? Because you're pulling a trailer, so let's take a look at that. Yeah. Unfortunately, there's a new dealer being constructed on the other side. It's a Porsche dealer, I think, and that's quite noisy, but so let's take a look. They're pulling this trailer here, and there's a map on this side, right, Stephen?
Yeah, we're right here.
Okay,
see where we're
let me stand on this side.
So we should also mention right now we are at Open Road Toyota today, right there, here in Richmond, BC, and that's also part of our trip. We're going to go to a couple Toyota dealers along the way. That's the first hybrid in Canada and the only one right now, so it's really interesting for the dealers to see it and for us to show it off.
No one has seen the hybrid yet, right?
That's correct, exactly. And I mean, yeah, you can see our route. Like I mentioned, it's listed at 4,000, but we're going up here and then all the way back to Whitehorse, so it's actually going to be over 5 when we're all done.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you guys are driving from here all the way.
Correct.
And driving how far back again?
Back to Whitehorse.
Oh, okay.
That's where we fly out of.
Oh, I see. Okay, and then Toyota will take care of the cars from there?
Yeah, so the trucks will be left in the Whitehorse dealership and then either shipped back or I'm not sure actually.
I see.
As long as they're not broken.
Exactly. It should be fine, right?
Yeah.
You have to watch out for wild animals crossing by.
Absolutely. We've heard a lot about, tons of deer up there. And then the other thing we have in the trailer, one of the big reasons we wanted it is tires. That's the most common thing you hear on the Dempster is it eats tires. So we wanted some spares, so we have some space for them. And then we have fuel cans in here as well. We have recovery gear, so it was nice to be able to have the space. And we're not going too hardcore here, but we want to be ready if something happens.
Well, looks like you guys are all well prepared. Now I know again it's a little bit noisy out here, but show us. There's a drone flying out on the two. Show us a little bit more about the 2 trucks then.
Sure. We'll roll up here and we'll take a look at this green truck. So this is Army Green. The other truck you saw is Solar Octane. These are great colors, first of all, I think. I love the Army Green. This was introduced on the Pro, I think 2 or 3 years ago, right?
Yes, that's right.
And then they brought it over.
I think I had this a few weeks ago.
Nice.
As a press truck.
Yeah, no, it's a great color. And then so the other thing with this truck is it's an SR5, which I mean is one step up from base. So it has the 8-inch touchscreen, it has the analog gauges, it has cloth seats. The TRD Pro is basically fully loaded. So it's got the 14-inch touchscreen and the digital gauge cluster. So that was the other interesting thing, is to see all the differences, and then we're going to do thousands of kilometers. We'll be able to say, I really like these gauges better than the screen, or vice versa, right? So that was the other reason why we wanted two very kind of different trucks.
Now, when I was driving this, because it was not under load, it was a little bit bumpy, like even on the road with just a little bit of bumps, it tends to lose a little bit of composure. Did you find that out? Did you find that on this one?
Sure. So we've been saying the Tundra has a busy ride. That was my experience.
I think so too.
I didn't feel like it was too rough or stiff, but I did feel everything, every little bump and divot and rock in the road, and it just comes through to you through your legs and your butt. And so that was sort of my big takeaway, was some of the other half tons are really smooth riding these days, and the Tundra is not quite there. However, you also mentioned it, not under load. Even with just that little trailer under there, it feels like it smooths it out a little bit. So sometimes that's nice too. And then the other thing too is that's more on the off-road. On the Pro, you don't feel that much because the suspension is so soft. You feel the body roll, but you don't feel all the little bumps kind of thing. So it's a different experience there too.
But they moved away from the leaf spring and then put a coil spring for 2022, right? So it's supposed to improve the ride a lot.
I think that Mike Spears, the chief engineer, said this a lot, which was that he had to use the frame from the Land Cruiser, which is what's under this truck now. So then they had to come up with some ways to basically compensate for that stiffness, which is that new rear suspension setup, right?
It's almost like a Land Cruiser truck, right, in some way, right? Because underneath there's so much shared components.
Which is cool, right? Very cool, especially if you know and appreciate what a Land Cruiser is.
Exactly. Let's finish off with the Solar Octane TRD Pro and just show the viewers what the truck looks like. And again, this is the only one, right, that at least here in Canada.
Yeah, well, if you want, we could pop the hood maybe. You want to take a look underneath?
Sure, let's do that.
Sure, let's do it.
Do you like the color, Steve?
I do. I mean, it jumps out at you. You notice this thing across the parking lot, but I'm good with it.
Yeah, it's cool, right? So we got the 3 lights. There's still, it says TRD inside. I don't know if people can see that. I think they knew that.
Integrated light bar too.
Yeah, light bars too. And I mean, against the prototype, so the plastics are not quite up to the standard, but
you notice a couple little things here and there. Yeah, you can't fault them for that. And there's no covering, and the paint isn't quite there. So you got to forgive Toyota for that. But the engine, that thing's ready to go. It's all buttoned up. And it's a monster, man.
Yeah, it's got quite a few more power and torque than the standard engine, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I don't remember the numbers. It's 570 pound-feet of torque, I think, in that neighborhood. So the power's right there when you put your foot into it. The other thing we've been noticing actually is it loves to shut off too. Even at highway speed, second you lift off the throttle and go into deceleration, the engine shuts right off and just runs on the hybrid. So it really feels like it wants to shut the ICE off as often as it can, which is good. You want it to save fuel. And I also think the big fuel savings here are going to be around town, right? With this truck, because if you really light on the throttle too, you can take off under just electric load too, which is nice.
Yeah, I remember driving this, I guess a few months ago at the Car of the Year event, at the Test Fest too, and it just got so much power, and it's so smooth and refined on the road, right? It's just super quiet. I mean, again, it's a prototype, so maybe there's a little bit of rattles and squeaks and stuff like that, but I'm sure Toyota has this thing ready to go for you guys, I think.
Yeah, they did go over it once for us to make sure it's good to go. Obviously, we're doing some rough things with it. We want to make sure it's well buttoned up and ready to take a beating.
Sounds good. Well, talking about beating, there's lots of beating at the back of our thing. They're constructing a new dealership, but so excited for you guys, for your team, for the truck. Again, I'm buying it. Hopefully, I'm getting it in about a month or so. So I gotta find a way to come and visit you guys back to East and drive over there.
Happy to have you.
Sounds good. So that's it for now, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe and take a look at Stephen's channel, Truck King, and follow their trip. You guys are going to give us an update throughout the trip?
Absolutely, yeah. We've already published day 1 yesterday, and we'll be publishing all day or every single day as we go. So.
And where's the best place to see the updates?
Truck King YouTube channel. We're also Truck King on Instagram, and then on Facebook we're the Canadian Truck King Challenge. So you can find us at any of those, and we'll be posting all kinds of stuff.
Super. All right, guys. So keep us stay informed with them, and let's wish them a really amazing trip. And we're excited for you guys.
Perfect.
Thanks so much.
Thanks,
Thanks,
David.
Stephen.
I appreciate it, man.
We'll talk to you later. Thank you.